Good morning, everybody. Cowboy here, 8:32 a.m. EST. Got started 2 whole minutes late. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, everybody, for being late. Oh, it's what happens when you gotta make coffee. All right, so go ahead and say something in the comments, give us a like, subscribe, follow, all that stuff. And if you have a question, if you have a chart that you want to see, just ask for it. Ask for it over in the comments because that's what we do here. If somebody wants to, see, hey, what's Bitcoin going to do, or at least what do we think it's going to do? Give us a forecast on this, give us a forecast on that. Of course, that's what we're happy to do for you. So we're going to start out in the data we have at 8:30 or at 10 a.m. EST, CB consumer confidence. So that data is going to push markets around, maybe. It's a high impact event. You see that red folder about over on forexfactory.com. That means that if that data is kind of, let's just say, far away from the forecast, that forecast number is 100.2. So if it's like 101 or 105 or something that's pretty far out there, markets, especially FX markets and crypto markets, will move, and they'll move hard. So, or they probably will, right? And there's no way for us to know what those numbers are going to be. And let's go ahead and put away this idea that these numbers have to be accurate and the data needs to be accurate. It doesn't matter if the data is accurate. What matters is what the number says. Because the market's going to treat that data as accurate, right? We're not here to talk about whether or not the people creating the data, the government people, whatever, are efficient or correct. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to make money, and making money is about making money. And we're not going to say it's immoral. I'm going to say it's amoral, right? It's nothing to do with morality in this case. So we gotta play the market as it exists. We're not playing some kind of pretend market that's a fantasy market, right? So let's put away that kind of talk. Oh, the numbers are fake. Yeah, so what? Market's real. Money is fake. Okay, that's fine, but it still pays the bills. You got to play along. If you don't want to play that game, I don't know why you're watching this show. Good. All right. Pep talk over. Let's jump into Bitcoin here. I know everybody wants to start there. And Bitcoin, of course, we're looking at the weekly chart. Not much is going to change day to day with this. However, things can change day to day if there is a major shock, if something happens that's unexpected, a war starts, or Japan does what they did 3 weeks ago and causes this massive meltdown. Like the things can change quickly on the weekly, but generally at this time of year in August, the markets are going to be really slow. There's not going to be a lot going on in markets. Typically during the summertime, especially during August, it's just the slowest month, especially in Forex, foreign exchange markets. And if you think about it this way, FX markets are more than about trading, right? FX markets are about like companies holding cash because they need to use that cash. And when you have a lot of companies who are like maybe on vacation, people are just taking breaks, especially around the world, especially in Europe, where they have holiday for, I don't know, several weeks, which is awesome. Wish the US was like that. Then yeah, you're going to have a lot less money being used to handle employee paychecks and all kinds of different things that they're normally used for. So it just slows down, and then of course ramps back up in September. Bitcoin itself is going to follow along in a certain way, because if you think about it this way, stocks, Bitcoin, everything else is traded against a currency, right? So Bitcoin, if you look here, it says BTC USDT, right? And that's, Tether is an analog to the dollar. So let's talk about that a little bit. You have BTC USD, right? Well, if you look at a stock, it's the same exact thing. You just don't see the USD part. So if you're trading Microsoft, it's MSFT USD, right? You just don't see the USD part because everybody knows you're trading, if you're in the US, you're trading against dollars, or if you're at least in the US markets. Morning, Mick. So yeah, that's basically how all that works, right? So if the dollar gets weaker and Microsoft's value does not change, then Microsoft will go up. Only not because Microsoft's value is going up, but because compared to the dollar, it's not going down, and the dollar is going down. The same thing will happen with Bitcoin. Well, in the summertime, especially in August, when the currency markets are just kind of at a standstill, the only change that's going to happen is going to be to, the Microsoft or Bitcoin, whatever that is, right? And by the way, when everybody's on vacation, they're not trading. There's not that many people, especially in finance, And that's where the big money is anyway. Most of the trading, like 95% of trading, is going to be happening at an institutional level. And again, you're going to have a lot of that done automatically, but the big moves, the big decisions, that stuff's not happening in August, right? So in August, we kind of, we're taking a much more relaxed approach. We don't have a lot of like high level information that's going to come out in August. I mean, it'll happen. The Japanese yen thing is an example of how things can move in August, right? But you just pretty much have low volatility and not a lot going on. Obviously, August has been this time healthy for Bitcoin. We had the big move down, and price is now higher than it was in July. So I can tell you algorithmically things are lightly bullish or neutral, basically, on the weekly. On the monthly with Bitcoin, things almost are always going to be bullish, even though it might be bullish against a resistance or, lightly bullish or whatever it is. Taking a look at the data at the bottom of the screen, the crazy gobbledygook, all those indicators that I use that kind of make people's eyes cross, to look at the monthly, you would say, okay, it's bullish. It might be, again, bullish against resistance, but overall things are bullish. It's just that price is taking a break and taking a pullback. But as it stands right now, it does look like price will flip around eventually and make its way back up. And that's also based on where we are in the Bitcoin cycle. I don't know anybody who thinks the top is in. I mean, you hear occasionally some, troll, like, top is in, sell all your Bitcoin. Like, okay. This is not the prevailing thought. And that's fine. Maybe they're right. I don't know. We don't know the truth about what's going on, right? We only know what we think is happening, and then we find out afterwards if we were correct. That's trading. So now we do have a pullback in Bitcoin as it stands. And this is something where we have to be careful. With this, this is a double top on the daily, right? Truly, it's an 18-hour chart. I use 18 hours because I don't like to trade on the same time frames as everybody else. Because when you use the same tools as everybody else, then you have the same results. Effectively, though, this is a double top, especially if I were to drop down to a lower time frame. And that double top where you have these two wicks, let me zoom in on it. It's probably too small really to see on the screen here. It's probably even a better vision of this on the 3 hour. Let me see if I can identify that on the 3 hour better. But basically what happened was price tried to rally, and then it got rejected, and then it tried to rally again, and then it got rejected again. So, I mean, this is pretty much a double top. It's not the cleanest one. It doesn't have exactly what I want to see, but effectively, this is a double top because price tried to rally twice and got rejected roundly, right? So let me zoom in a little bit. You have these two wicks. And this is short-term bearish. As you can see, price is heading down after this double top. So what's going to happen, right? Is price going to come back up? What's going to happen next, right? The way I would look at this is I would look at the algos. Now we are up in this high time frame consolidation, and this rally up got, like I said, rejected. And we keep seeing, if we back out, go to a higher time frame, that we keep seeing these lower highs, right? If you go, especially on like the daily or the monthly. Or the weekly. So we'll look at the weekly. Oops, sorry about that. And each one of these highs is lower and lower and lower. You have this high here, that high here, these highs there, a double top on a higher time frame, this high here, and then of course you have what might be the new high. We don't know yet. We have to see what happens in the future of now. Like we have to wait and see, but this does look like we might be seeing the beginning of another move down. We don't know yet. Let's take a brief look at the algos and assess that. Still a bit bullish in the daily, not seeing what I need to see to be confident that that local top is in. It could be in, right? So that's on the weekly. Let's see what the daily algos say. Daily algos are flipping a little bearish. So what we might end up doing is letting this play out a little bit. So what I would do is watch the price action, of course. Price action is always going to tell you sooner than everything else. Indicators are great because you can use them on a higher time frame to give you bias. And I mean, indicators are awesome. I love them. However, price action is going to tell you everything first. And what you have here is a range. And this range is effectively from 57,800 up to about 61,800. So you have a good, what is that? $4,000 range. effectively. So price has been bouncing back and forth, a lot of rejections at those areas, right? Many rejections creating this range. And so there's a decent chance that one of two things are going to happen. As we do have a little bit of bullishness on the weekly, we might see price actually reject at the top of this range, grab liquidity, and head up. And if price heads up and gets past this prior high, then we have some clues that we might be done with the post-halving pullback, right? This is the sort of ideal scenario. This is what you would want to see happen from the bullish standpoint. However, if price continues down past this range, then we might be seeing what's the beginning of the next move down, which could take us realistically down to 44,000, but price would need to get past this low, this 48,000 for that to happen. So, there's a lot going on, and that would take some time unless there's some kind of there's like an event that scares the market. That's another story. But what happens between 61,800 and 57,800 is going to tell us a lot. If price bounced anywhere in that range that I just named, or even slightly below that, and came back up into, say above 61,800, then we might actually be in a more bullish scenario. So, of course, trading wise, as I take things level by level. I'm not necessarily trying to forecast what happens next week. I mean, I do so, but it's not where I make my money. I make my own money in two ways. One way of making money is buying and holding good assets through a bullish cycle, whether it's crypto or anything else. And the other is trading short-term moves. And so if I were to see, I missed this move down. That's not something I played. And, I've just been busy, actually. Is all I really could say about that. The last 2 days have been a freaking whirlwind for me. Otherwise, I might have caught this short. So I will look for a bounce in this area, right? And that's what we'll do. So I'm going to actually expand on this in the private live lab. We're going to dig a little bit deeper. I'm going to give some key areas where this might bounce to the upside, even if it's just a short-term move up, and see if we can identify a bullish trade on that. For now, I'm going to head over to the private live lab. So go ahead, zap QR code, top right-hand corner of the screen, like, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, Rumble, X, all that stuff. We at Algo Factory help people become traders. You can come work with us if you don't know anything about trading. We will definitely get you what you need to get started. And we have a Telegram room that is open 24/7 where people go in there, ask questions. And then every day, every weekday, after this brief live show, what we do is we go over to Telegram and we have a private live lab over there where we actually will continue to do charts and ask questions. And, people oftentimes will bring in their trading method, and I will take a look at that and help them possibly squeeze out some more profitability from that. So we do a lot. We're an amazing service, and our price is going to go up. Now, if you get in before we raise our price, right, and I don't know what we're going to raise it to, but it's going to be a substantial move from where it is right now. If you get in before we raise the price, then we are going to let you keep the price that you're at. So let's say we raise the price to $300. I don't think that's where it's going to go right away. It will make its way there eventually. But if you're at $50 and let's just say we double the price to $100, you're going to keep that $50 price as long as you don't let your membership lapse. So we're going to reward people for getting in early. So if you are interested in Algo Factory, there's never been a better time than now. So come to algofactory.tech. We love you. Algofactory.tech. Trade your job, upgrade your life. And do not forget,
join us or die.